Wah, wah, wah. Chachi is in the house, but this September, Scott Baio is taking on a more serious role in the God's Not Dead franchise.
Getting back into my faith has opened the door for me with these faith-based films, and I'm very appreciative of David and God of steering me in this direction.
And this is CIA, Contagious Influencers of America. I'm David Sams. Today is a real treat because I have a real icon here, a TV icon, and that's Scott Baio. Of course, Scott played Chachi in the TV series Happy Days for many years. And then he had Joanie Loves Chachi, Charles in Charge. That was a big hit series. And of course, Diagnosis Murder. He's won many, many awards and Emmy awards and all, but he's now part of something very special. And that's the God's Not Dead franchise. And the new movie, God's Not Dead, In God We Trust, hits theaters on September 12th. And it stars all kinds of wonderful guys. We have, Isaiah Washington from Grey's Anatomy, Dean Cain from Lois and Clark, and of course, David A.R. White, who plays Reverend David Hill. Of course, David is one of the founders of PureFlix and the God's Not Dead franchise. But this is a wonderful movie. It's the intersection of politics and faith. It's sort of the Mr. Smith Goes to Washington kind of feel to it. This is one of those movies that you're going to be standing up in the aisle going, yeah, because it's for every Christian who feels like, if you feel like you're under attack, if you feel as though your faith is being judged every day, if you feel as though people are telling you you're not worthy, you're old-fashioned, get with the program, look forward, not to the past, et cetera, you want to go see this movie. And it's entertaining. It's a fun, sort of a political thriller, so to speak. And you want to take your friends. One thing I learned through this whole process of this movie is that 40 million, that's 40 million Christians don't even bother to vote. Go figure that out. 40 million. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent. You need to play your part and get out there and vote this November or whenever you get the chance to early vote. But we're going to have Scott Baio with me right here in the Homestead Theater here in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a look at a clip from In God We Trust, the new movie from the God's Not Dead franchise.
The biggest faith movie franchise returns to theaters. Pinnacle Peak Productions' God's Not Dead, In God We Trust.
Religion has no place in the public square.
People are looking for more spiritual and moral leadership.
A small-town pastor is called upon to save the religious soul of America.
Send a message to Washington. You have the power to change things.
Keep your boy in line. It's like his God, I can give it and I can take it away.
Don't miss God's Not Dead, In God We Trust. In theaters only September 12th.
Scott, welcome to the Homestead.
Thank you, Dave. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So I watched the movie last night, and boy, you were a real jerk.
Good. Oh, good. So I did a good job.
You did a great job.
That's what I was aiming for. Jerk was on my mirror every morning when I woke up.
Is that kind of a role? Is that something that you always wanted to play? That kind of a scumbag?
Well, who doesn't want to, right? I mean, it's something you can sink your teeth into. And yeah, of course. I mean, I've always played sort of nice guys, and it was good fun. And I got to work with Ray Wise, I loved that guy. I had a good time working with him, but it was fun. It really was a lot of fun, and I got to be a bit of a creep.
Yeah. The interesting thing about the God's Not Dead franchise is that it has turned into a real. It's really turned into a franchise with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Each of the films that come out, there seems to tap into something that's going on in culture, and this particular film, especially during this election year, really plays into that. So tell me about that. What really attracted you to the film?
The money.
Money. That always works.
Well, I think the message was something that resonated with me. I was born, raised Catholic, was Catholic up until a couple of years ago, and then was baptized again and Christian. And I believe in God. I believe in Christ, and you don't have to. I do. And I don't appreciate God being taken out of everything, because I think one of the main problems with society is there's the moral compass is sort of gone, and I think faith keeps you going in the right direction. You don't have to be a holy roller. You don't have to be an extreme, a religious person, but just be a good person. Just be a good God-fearing person. And a lot of the problems that we have, I think, would be gone. And also with this movie, and I didn't even know this, that people complain about elections. Oh, this or that, whatever side complains, and our side complains about, why did we lose, and what do we do? And the answer really is, and I don't know if they're all on our side, but there's 40 million Christians that don't vote. And my argument is, well, what principle are you standing on to not vote? Why? What's sticking in your craw about it? Is it Trump because he's been divorced or may have had an affair? Well, okay, he's a sinner, and so are you. Mm-hmm. So what's your beef? Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to vote and you're going to sit and complain about what the country's becoming, well, then you're part of the problem. Mm-hmm. So get off your rear end, and you can do it at home now. You can mail in your ballots. So there's 40 million people. Again, I don't know what percentage of them are Republicans or Democrats or whatever they are. Just get out and vote, and maybe you can affect change. Because, and that was why this movie appealed to me so much. The ending, the speech that David A.R. White, who plays the pastor in this Mr. Smith Goes to Washington kind of movie, that's the message. Get up and vote. Get up. You want to save tradition. You want to save, in my opinion, America, with the things that I believe in. If you want to save those things, then you got to go vote.
Now, I guess we should explain, when I sort of set up the interview, your role. I guess you should explain.
Yes, I play
what we were talking about.
I am. Yes, thanks. Good idea, Dave. Ray Wise is a politician who's running for office again, and the man he's running against, I think, passes away, and there's nobody to run against him, and he wants to completely get rid of God from everything, and they get to this pastor, and they kind of have to talk him into running. Mm-hmm. And his argument is just, why do you want to eliminate? There's room for everybody. Just don't eliminate what we believe and what this country was founded on. Judeo-Christian principles and values. Mm-hmm. And I grew up in that, and I want my daughter to grow up in that. And that's who I play. I play his campaign manager, basically. And they go head to head about all these issues.
An interesting campaign manager who doesn't have a lot of doesn't have much of a moral compass.
No, he just wants to win.
Right.
And but I don't care what it takes to win, and I don't care what your mission is. But as long as I can help you win, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
And there are people like that, and there are people on the other side. But I don't understand the wanting to give up of the country. I just don't understand it. I really don't.
Right.
I really, really don't. And it seems that people are hell bent on it.
From your perspective, what is the biggest issue that we face right now as a country?
The biggest issue, I think there are no consequences for anything anymore. Nobody takes responsibility for anything. Everybody's trying to blame somebody else. And it's gotten to the point where nothing happens to anybody. People lie under oath. Okay. People commit crimes. Okay. No problem. I just left LA, and you could steal up to $925. And that's fine. Don't worry about it. And if you want to come in an hour later and do it again, yeah, go ahead and do it. And this is going to sound so vague. I think just common decency is gone. Integrity, I think, is gone is leaving this country. There are still people with tremendous integrity, but it's just gone. And it's sad to me because I'm a very conservative guy, super conservative guy. And so I've been marked as anti-everything. Homophobic, xenophobic, whatever you want to put on me has been put on me. And the fact of the matter is, I really don't care what your lifestyle is. I don't care. You can, and I'll hang out with you. You want to be trans? Great. You want to marry this sofa? Great. You can do whatever you want, and I'll sit with you. We'll laugh. I'll make fun of you. You can make fun of me. We'll smoke a cigar. We'll have a drink. What else? I'll give you a hug and I'll see you tomorrow. That's who I am. But just don't force yourself on. Don't force your views on me. And I'll do the same. I won't force my views on you. And we can't do that anymore. That's gone. I have to accept what you are. I have to. And I don't want to. And I think that's one of our biggest issues. We're so polarized, and it wasn't like that. And I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened because I don't care what your lifestyle is. I really don't. And I've been that way my whole life. People tell me I'm homophobic, and I said I worked in show business my entire life. You think there are not gay people in show business? Come on. Be honest. So, and God being taken out of school, I think, is a huge problem. Dave, I could talk about what the problems with the country are for a week. You know what I mean? And the only person I agree with 100% of the time is me. So,
speaking of cigars, what's your favorite?
I like. I smoke a nub. I'm a Connecticut wrap guy.
Nubs are great. Yeah,
I'm a Connecticut. I can't smoke a dark leaf. I have to be rushed to the hospital. So I smoke a very very mild cigar, and I'll smoke a Rocky Patel once in a while.
Oh, I love the Edge. You love the Edge?
I never had one.
Oh, they're great afternoon cigars. I got eight humidors upstairs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so you're always welcome to stop by.
What's your go-to?
Oh, well, honestly, it's the afternoon. It's the Rocky Patel Edge, and he makes great cigars.
Yeah.
They're great go-to cigars.
Yeah.
I used to be into Davidoff and all that, but then their factory burned down or something, and I used to buy the specialties in Century City when they were $7 or $8. Now they're like $40. I think my limit's about $10.
Yeah, me too. And I find smoking a cigar is such an interesting world. I mean, the people that you meet. I mean, I go to some lounges in Florida where we live, and some just cool people come in, and everybody just talks. Everybody's really kind of friendly, and for me, what do you enjoy about smoking a cigar?
First of all, I had a stroke 15, 16 years ago, and I was really concerned because I thought my neurologist was going to tell me don't smoke cigars anymore. But he says the number one killer of men is stress, and he goes, the great thing about a cigar. He says, first of all, I'm from Miami, but he said, second of all, the great thing about a cigar is it makes you sit down, chill out, and just hang for probably 60 to 90 minutes.
Right, exactly.
And he says, that's going to do more for you. He says, now don't inhale. I mean, I don't inhale. I've been smoking. By the way, my first cigar I had was in 1991. I went to a friend's wedding in New York, and he married the daughter of the coach of the New York Mets. So at the reception, he put me at a table with all Mets players.
Oh, nice.
So it was me, and it was 9 net Mets player at a table of 10. And at the center of every table, this is back in the days you could smoke in these places.
Right.
He had a box of Cohibas. And during the reception, they all broke out and had a cigar, and they got to know me a little bit. And they go, Dave, you're going to have one, aren't you? And I'm like, sure, why not? So I had the New York Mets teach me how to smoke a cigar.
That's fantastic. But I look, it's a great thing. It's also a great physical thing. Because I used to smoke cigarettes, but no, I was never like I need a cigarette. I'd be Dean Martin. I'd sit at the bar. I'd have a drink and a cigarette,
right.
And I'd sit there, and that was my thing.
Right.
And I found it to be just a great thing to do.
Yeah.
And smoking a cigar is like a great thing to do. The taste for me, I can't differentiate the taste from one cigar to another. I can't.
Right.
It's just burning paper, and I love doing it. But you're right. It's a very relaxing thing. And it's funny, you mentioned that the Mets taught you how to smoke or suggested that you smoke. But and I don't do this, but do you know the name Bobby Mercer?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we were doing Happy Days, we had a softball team, and we would go play at major league ballparks around the country. And one of them, the Yankees were there. And I don't know if it was Yankee Stadium, but wherever it was, the team might have been playing the Yankees. And I was sitting in the dugout, and Bobby Mercer sat next to me, and he pulled out a pouch. And he says, you want some tobacco? Well, he didn't call it chaw or something. And I said, sure. I was a kid. I must have been 18, 19 years old. And he shoved this stuff in my mouth, man. I damn near puked. And I did it a little bit after that. But I was like, oh, and I swallowed it once and I puked. I said, forget it. I'm not chewing tobacco anymore.
I know. I had one cigarette when I was 13. My dad's a pastor. And on a Sunday night, I had a cigarette behind the church.
Oh, man.
Right? And I got in a car, and I thought I was going to hell.
Blasphemer.
So I've had one cigarette in my life, but I've had many, many, many cigars. But the great thing about it, I don't care if you're left, right. I don't care what your sexual orientation. I don't care if you're a he, a she, a they, or a though, whatever. You can sit down and have a cigar with anybody.
Exactly.
And it's like you just shoot the breeze and talk about stuff. Yeah. It's not like a big battle.
Yeah,
you're not arm wrestling somebody.
Right, and it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. I agree.
So maybe we need more of that. Maybe we need to get more
cigar lounges.
More. Hey, I've got. Let me see, 1, 2, 3 within 5 minutes of here.
Really?
Well, we're in Nashville. We're in Brentwood. So
yeah, my wife used to when my wife's from Pigeon Forge. And my wife used to, when she was young, strip tobacco.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, okay, I didn't know people did that, but okay,
So how you? I know our daughters have gone to the same school.
Yes.
In Westlake Village, and what got you to move to Florida?
My wife and I have been talking about it for a while. L.A. was sort of. It's crumbling, deteriorating, and it's really unfortunate, Dave, because as you know, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world, Southern California. And we were like, well, where do we go? What do we want to do? So our daughter is a golfer, and there's an academy in Florida where we live, sports academy, and we went there for a summer camp for her to train. And then we went again, another summer. And we thought, well, you know what? Why don't we split half the time between California and Florida, buy a condo here or something, and go to school half the year here and half the year there and in California. And then we did that for like, I don't even know, a couple of weeks. And our daughter came home one day and said, if I really want to get good, I got to be here full time. And I went, oh, crap. And it gave us, the the push
Yeah.
to get to Florida, and that was and it's a great move. It was a great move.
And the great thing now, it's like I remember when I moved here in 2010, I kept my 818 number because I'm in the Directors Guild, and I used to do a lot of pilots and things. And I thought, oh man, if people find out that I moved to Nashville, I'll never get a gig again. Mm-hmm. So I kept my 818 number, right?
So did I.
And you know what? About 2 years into it, people go, "Oh, we knew you moved there," and it doesn't matter anymore.
Word gets out.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter anymore.
You can do about it. It doesn't matter.
It's not stopping you from getting work.
No, 15 years ago was not now.
Yeah.
Right? 15
Right.
years ago, a whole different world.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
So looking back over your career, obviously Happy Days was, so iconic. Mm-hmm. But looking back over your career, how do you see the work of God's hand playing into your life?
Again, I was born and raised Catholic, went to church every Sunday, celebrated all the holidays, and got to California when I was 16 or 15 or something, 7, whatever it was, and I kind of fell off, and I fell off for a while. I'd go to church once in a while on my own. Mm-hmm. I'd just stop in and sit for a half hour and meditate and pray and do things like that. But I didn't have the conviction that I had when I was a young boy. And so I met my wife, and I was living in LA, and I was a single guy, and I was having a good time, and I didn't do drugs. I never really drank. But I was having a good time, and I dated a lot and all that kind of stuff. And I met my wife, and I met a girl who became my wife, and we had and she's a Christian, and we had got married and had a baby. And I thought, I really want my daughter to be raised in the faith that I'm Catholic, with the faith that I was raised in. And my wife started went to a couple of classes about Catholicism, and she's, being a Christian, had a problem with a couple of things. Not big problem, but she had a couple of problems. And so I took my young daughter to Catholic church, and I sat there and I went, oh God, I heard this story 50 years ago. And God bless look, I'm a Catholic, I was brave, but I'm Christian, and it was the same exact thing that I went to when I was a boy. And I said, I don't know if I want my daughter to sit here, because I want my daughter to learn. And I didn't, as much as I learned, it was very stagnant. Mm-hmm. So my wife found a Christian church out in Calvary, out in Westlake. Mm-hmm. And I started going there, and the pastor, Sean Thornton, the first time I went there, the guy's telling jokes and, telling stories about his life, applying it to Bible verse. And my daughter was in a children's ministry, and they were dancing and singing. And I went, well, this is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So started going to that church, and then I started getting back into my faith again. I started getting back into, really, I don't want to say really believing, but just, trying to apply myself more. And then out of nowhere, because David A.R. White, who is in the God Not Dead movies and other movies, his children went to Oaks Christian, and I met him there. And he said, would you want to do a movie? Because I was kind of retired also. I was retired, forcefully retired, because I was a big Trump guy, and I knew I was going to get canceled, and I did, and it was fine. So I went, sure. Mm-hmm. What do you got? And he came to me this movie called Courting Mom and Dad, which was a film, and he said it was a film about parents, about divorce, faith-based film about divorce. And he said, do you think your daughter would like to be in it as your daughter? And I said, of course she would. My daughter is a very outgoing young lady. So getting back into my faith has opened the door for me with these faith-based films, and I'm very appreciative of David and God of steering me in this direction. And so I God is a mysterious being, and how he massages you into different areas or opens doors for you. And so I just try to keep my faith. And
I think it's amazing how we all have had our kids go to Oaks Christian, and you and I attended the same church. We both know Sean. Small world, isn't it? Yeah. Well, just to wrap this up, I just want to ask you, what is it that we can pray for you for, or what is it that we can really bless you and your family for as you look down the road? Where do you need encouragement?
My wife has some health issues. Pray for my wife's health. She's okay though. And I'm just going to say that I just want people to pray for the country, because if the country is whole, then I'm whole. My country's more important than me. My daughter's more important than me. And I do what I do now for my daughter, because I want her to live in a country that I have been living in, and that's going away. So I wish people pray for America.
Well, I really appreciate you stopping by. And hey, I just want you to look in the camera and give our co-host Donna a shout out. She's in Texas, so she says, "You're interviewing him. I have a poster on my wall."
Not now. She had it back then.
I think she still has it.
No. She needs therapy. What do you want me to just say hi to her?
Donna Cruz.
Hey, Donna Cruz in Texas. Scott Baio here. Just wanted to say hi. I'm sitting with your good friend Dave. I hope that you've taken that poster down from your bedroom wall. If not, I have a couple of phone numbers of some very good doctors that can help you. Anyway, God bless you, and it's nice to talk to you.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for stopping by the Homestead Studio. It's been great to spend this time and getting to know you a little bit. And the movie is God's Not Dead. It hits theaters on September the 12th. And of course, you can check out your tickets. Get your tickets. Let me see. Where do they have the tickets? I think it's at godsnotdead.com. Yeah, check out godsnotdead.com, and you can get your tickets in advance. Go see this, folks. Like I said before, 40 million Christians don't even bother to vote. And when you see this movie, you're going to say, how fast can I get there to vote? And how many people can I take with me to vote? This is a great, great movie. God's Not Dead and God We Trust hits theaters on September the 12th. Next week, I have David A.R. White here with me. Of course, David is one of the founders of PureFlix, and he's one of the the vision behind the God's Not Dead movies. And he is, you'll recognize him immediately, but he's a great visionary, and I can't wait for you to meet him right here at the Homestead Studio next week. All right. And in the meantime, please do go rate and review us. Give us 5 stars if you would, please. 4.5, maybe. If you give us 1 or 2, please don't bother. But you can check out all of our website, all of our episodes, I should say, at contagiousinfluencers.com. And of course, our radio show website for Keep the Faith, the #1 syndicated faith-based show in all of America and Canada. That's at KeepTheFaith.com. How simple is that? KeepTheFaith.com. And I just want to encourage you this week to go out there and live that life in living color. Would you do that for me? Because it sure is a heck of a lot more interesting than living in black and white. I'll see you next time.